Hey, everybody, welcome back to another edition of the CruitCast. Cole, look at us 2 weeks in a row doing a CruitCast, huh? After
Back on
missing one
track.
or two, recently with everything crazy going on. But yeah, welcome back, everybody. We're going to do, like we talked about last week, Cole and I are going to kind of preview the 2024 class, but we're going to package it in by doing that. We're going to talk about Rivals updated their top 250 rankings for the 2024 class. So we're going to talk about all the guys in that Rivals 250. And that's a good number of Texas targets that we'll be going over. So that will kind of set the table for this class for us on the guys we'll be talking about quite a bit over the next year. But before we get into that, little housekeeping. You see Prime Shrimp up there at the top, 25% if you order 5 or more units with that promo code Texas25. Get you some Prime Shrimp. Hit all the flavors, man. Get one of each. Hell, get 10 of each. Whatever. It's so good. Just you got a big freezer, load up, man. It's easy, it's fast, it's delicious. You can't go wrong. Primeshrimp.com. Use that promo code Texas25. Also, do us a favor. Not that you're not doing us a favor by ordering Prime Shrimp, but also subscribe to the channel. Like this video. Get all the alerts when Cole and I do these videos and all the other videos on this Orange Bloods YouTube channel. But Cole, let's jump right into, because it's a lot of names. So I told Cole off the air, we're not going to spend a ton of time talking about each guy, or we'll be here for several hours. But Rivals releases their 2024 Rivals 250. Looking at a thread that you posted on Tuesday, right before Rivals crashed, mind you. Thanks, Rivals. For pretty much the entire day. But, so it's their first update since August, so lots of movement, as you said. So let's just kind of talk about, we'll start with the Texas commitments. You've got Jaden Allen at 132, which is a pretty big drop for Jaden Allen. Kind of your thoughts on his, still a lofty ranking, but he did fall quite a bit. I think it was top 50-ish before that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like right around top 50. So, your thoughts on Jaden Allen, the Texas cornerback athlete out of Alito, taking a tumble in the rankings.
Yeah, personally, I like Jaden. Every time I've seen him play, in a game, in camp, 7-on-7, whatever the case is, whatever the setting is, he's always impressed me. I guess the only really big concern is his size, but like I said, every time I see him play, he rises to the occasion, plays like the best player in the field. So, like I said, still a top 150 player.
Yeah, and it's funny. I get the concern with his size, but his brother is so big. His brother, of course, B.J. Allen at Texas, a safety who's borderline almost growing out of the position of safety. But and then you got Jaden, who's on the smaller size, but really good player. Listen, man, I mean, I know these recruits and fans get worked up over if a guy drops 3 spots. Sometimes people freak out, but like he's still the number 132 player in the country, man. It's still amazing. I mean, kudos to Jaden Allen. But let's keep going. They got 2 more commitments for Texas. All 3 of the Texas commitments in the Rivals 250. But Hunter Modden, the wide receiver, checks in at number 180. I don't think he was in the previous release. So nice move up for Hunter Modden. Kind of your thoughts there, Cole?
Yeah, he and we'll get to Trey Owens, but he and Trey Owens both were 3-star prospects that jumped into the Rivals 250 and they're 4-star. As far as Modden goes, he didn't put up the gaudiest numbers at wide receiver, but he's a really good return man. He was really good at corner. He could kind of play all over the field. And that makes him one of the obviously top 200 players in the country. But yeah, it was good to see him kind of jump into that mix.
Mm-hmm. And Texas is going to have to fight to hang on to his commitment. He did visit LSU in late January. Jaden Allen, we should mention, visited Alabama. So both those guys are committed, but Texas still has work to do there. You mentioned Trey Owens, Cole, the quarterback. I think makes a justified move. He's up to number 236 in the Rivals 250. He was a 3-star previously, now a 4-star. We talked about Trey a lot when he committed. I mean, there's nothing to really dislike about his game. Yeah. I think he's the perfect fit for what Texas needed in this class. And talking to Trey at the junior day in late January, I don't think there's anything to be worried about with his commitment. He's like, listen, Trey's a smart kid. He's like, never say never, but he goes, I don't see me ever wavering. I mean, barring like coaching changes or something completely crazy, he's pretty locked in. So let's move now, Cole, to the uncommitted guys Texas is targeting. And we'll start with there are 3 guys that earned 5-star status. I'm just going to lump them all in and then we'll talk about them. Colin Simmons, the Duncanville defensive end, comes in at number 3 nationally. Micah Hudson, the guy we both love, the wide receiver from Lake Belton, at number 6. Excuse me, Kamarian Franklin, defensive end from Cole. You're pretty familiar with him out of Mississippi, comes in at number 12. 3 guys that have all been on campus before. 3 guys we fully expect to be on campus again. Your thoughts on those 3 guys and maybe just kind of where Texas fits with all of them?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, Colin and Micah, they're the top 2 players in the state, and they might be the top 2 players on Texas' entire board. Micah Hudson's a guy that can come right in, plays a freshman wide receiver. Colin Simmons is the top-ranked defensive player in the entire class. If you watch any of that state championship game, you kind of see why. He was in the backfield literally the entire game. Kind of was one of the primary reasons why they won the state championship. So yeah, you definitely expect both of those guys to be on campus. Texas seems to be in the top group for both of those guys. And Franklin, he might be the longest shot of the 3, but like I said, he's been on campus before, and he told me he wants to be, or he will be on campus in the spring because of that relationship with Bo Davis. As long as you can get that caliber of prospect on campus, you'll let things play out how they may. But yeah, 3 guys that Texas seems to be in the picture for.
Yeah, and Texas is having a junior day. I was talking to a couple of recruits this week. It's March, I think, 24th or 25th, as I pull up my calendar here. 25th, I believe it is, a Saturday. So we'll see. A lot of these people we are talking about and will talk about will probably be on campus for that weekend. So, Cole, let's move down. Guys who just missed 5-star cutoffs, but they're all top 50 for sure. Most of them top 40. Justin Williams, a linebacker out of Conroe Oak Ridge. We'll just take them one by one. There's 4 of them. I was a little surprised to see Justin. I mean, listen, fantastic player, but I was a little surprised to see him that highly ranked. But, he's a guy who visited Texas for the junior day. There's been a lot of Oregon talk and future cast picks for Oregon and stuff like that. But some of that seems to have died down. And obviously, he just visited Texas recently, so the Longhorns are in the mix there. I'm looking, he made a pretty good jump. I mean, he was around, I don't know, what is it, 140-ish or something like that, all the way up to number 22. So big jump for Justin Williams, a guy that you're really familiar with, Jordan Johnson Rebel out of IMG Academy in Florida, checks in at number 26. He's a guy that I'm fully expecting to be on campus this spring. Dylan Williams checks in at number 31, linebacker out of Long Beach, California. He visited Texas in the fall and loved it. This dude, I mean, when I talked to him, loved it. He was going to come in for the junior day, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Like on Friday, he's like, yeah, I'll be there Thursday or the day before the junior. He goes, yeah, I'll be there tomorrow or whatever. And then he winds up on Oregon's campus the next day. So I don't know how that happens, if his plane got derailed or what. But
maybe he got the flight mixed up.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he got on the wrong plane, right? So somehow he ended up in Oregon and not Texas. But he's a guy that likes Texas a ton. He's a West Coast guy, but Texas, I expect Texas will be in the mix there and get him back on campus. The next one out of that high 4-star is Kobe Black out of Waco Connolly, number 41 overall. I think Texas has a great chance there. I think I had Kobe at over 50% on my recruiting board.
Yeah.
Cole, just pick any one of those 4, all of those 4, kind of your thoughts on those dudes.
Yeah, I think of those 4, I think Texas strongly in the mix for Jordan Johnson Rebel for sure. But Kobe Black might be the guy that they're kind of leading for out of those 4. If you made, I guess, both of us pick, especially with your recruiting board percentages, we probably lean Kobe Black being the most likely of those 4 to commit to Texas. But yeah, they're strongly in the mix for all 4. Justin Williams made that big jump, as you mentioned. He's getting some comparisons to Suntarine Perkins, the 5-star linebacker at the time with Ole Miss in his last cycle. So I think that's kind of where his jump is. He's sideline linebacker, good athlete there. Jordan Johnson Rebel, like you said, playing at IMG from the Fort Worth area. Originally loves Texas, loves Blake Gideon and Terry Joseph and Steve Sarkis. And then Dylan Williams, that's a guy, like you said, West Coast. He's been on campus before, ended up not making it for junior day. I think if they can get him back on campus in the spring, I kind of expect them to, just kind of what he told you about his fall visit. I think that could go a long way.
Yeah. If I'm ranking probability of those 4, being in the Texas class, I'm putting Kobe Black first, probably Jordan Johnson second.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably go Justin Williams, and I think Texas is surging there. And then Dylan Williams, just because he's an out-of-state guy, would probably be last. But I mean, listen, Texas, I think, will be a legitimate player for all four of them. Okay, so let's jump down to mid 4-star, and we got quite a few names here, so we're not going to spend a ton of time on each guy. I'm just going to go one by one, Cole, and you can offer up a thought, and then I'll offer up a quick thought. So, Drelon Miller, the Silsbee wide receiver, checks in at number 50. Kind of your thoughts. Let's set the table where you think things are with Miller.
Yeah, Miller is kind of that Swiss Army knife, Deebo Samuel type of player, and he might not be the most polished wide receiver, but he can impact the game in a lot of ways. Good basketball player as well.
Yeah, and I just think there's probably more A&M buzz there. I think Texas is in the mix.
Florida's trying to get in the mix as well.
Mm-hmm. Texas needs to get him on campus to have a serious shot. It's been a while since he's been on campus. Number 52, Blake Frazier out of Austin Vandergrift. Excuse me. And he was a player that did come in for the Texas Junior Day. Yeah. So obviously Texas is in play there. Texas offered him at the Junior Day. Cole, your thoughts on Frazier?
Yeah, Austin area kid. If you keep him home, that would obviously be big. Borderline top 50 player who Rivals is really high on.
Yeah, I haven't. Full disclosure, I need to talk to Frazier about his Junior Day visit because I talked to him as he was leaving for about 5 seconds, and his dad's he's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry, we got a commitment we need to get to." He says, "Okay, I'll catch up with you on the phone," and I haven't done that yet. His dad played at Michigan. A lot of people think that's where he'll wind up. So. Just the people that talked to him at the Junior Day didn't get hey, I love Texas vibe. So I think Texas has work to do there. But like you said, man, he's from Austin. Yeah. Texas should be in the mix, but I do think there's still work to be done. Number 58, Jarrett Gibson, the running back at IMG Academy. Interesting drop there. I mean, he was the number one running back in the country. He now is the 4th ranked running back in the country, but this is a guy that's a priority target for Texas and Tashard Choice. He was at the Junior Day. I've talked to his dad a couple of times, including, I think it was while they were on campus at the Junior Day, he and I were texting. His dad's awesome. Love his dad, by the way, but funny dude, just a cool guy. But and his dad's like, man, it was just an amazing visit. So, I need to follow up, but it was, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee. So, some tough competition, as you'd expect for a guy like Jarrett Gibson, a top player out of IMG Academy. But Texas is, I don't know that there's a school I'd put above Texas right now. Okay. I think Texas is right there at the top of that list. So he comes in at number 58. Just below him, interesting jump here for Taylor Tatum. Comes in at number 62, the Longview running back. I actually talked to Taylor this week. It was on Sunday. It was before the Super Bowl to talk about that Junior Day visit. And I'm sorry, Cole, I'll let you jump in. I know I'm kind of monopolizing here, but I did just talk to Taylor. He says a great Junior Day visit. He followed that up. He went to Michigan and Duke. It was interesting on his Texas and Michigan Junior Day visits. He was telling me he met with the head baseball coaches. So he met with David Pierce at Texas. I mean, obviously, tremendous baseball player. Mm-hmm. And listen, I'm going to say this about Taylor. Cole, you heard me say it, or you read me on our Slack channel, I guess. Just a great kid, man. Really, just an enjoyable young man to talk to. When I talked to him on Sundays, just very respectful. I'll say it. I say it all the time, dude. As I get older, and I'm getting old, I am old. I appreciate when I encounter some of these quality young men. It just makes me appreciate them more and more. And Taylor fits that bill. But
good player too.
What's that?
I said he's a good player too.
Good player and a great kid. Absolutely. Hey, I've got 3 teenagers myself and an 11-year-old, so I know what little shits teenagers can be sometimes. So
refreshing, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's refreshing, dude. Boy, if we do a parting shot on this video, I've got a parting shot about my teenage daughter that'll make you chuckle. Taylor's pretty open, but obviously academics are a huge factor. It was interesting. He told this to me, and I'm going to have this later in the week. I'm putting in the CruitCast first, but he goes, some people might be surprised at the schools that are on my list because it's not just the big schools. I mean, I said he went to Duke. I mean, Texas, Michigan, and Duke's a fine program. They've had some success, but you don't picture Duke football in the same realm as Texas and Michigan. But he's like, hey, man, I'm looking for academics and culture and those types of things. So he said some people might be surprised at the schools that I consider. So next up on our list, Cole, is Nigel Smith, the defensive end out of Melissa, checks in at number 75. Your thoughts on Nigel?
Yeah, Nigel's a guy that I think Texas is kind of playing behind on, but they're still in the mix. He likes Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Stanford, another academic heavy kid, especially with the Stanford and Notre Dame in the picture. Yeah, can kind of play all over that defensive line. Another D lineman that has a good relationship with Bo Davis, so getting him back on campus could be pretty big.
Next up is at number 76, Dante Robinson out of Florida, a defensive tackle. I actually talked to him on Tuesday, so pretty timely here.
Yeah,
Man, this kid, like, first off, he did come in for the junior day at
he
Texas,
did.
several other visits, and now I was asking him where he's going to go when the dead period lifts in March, and it would be a 20-minute list if I read it off. He said he wants to get back
Everywhere in
on.
the country.
Yeah, man. He goes like Texas A&M. I mean, seriously, Southern Cal, Michigan. These are places he's already planning to visit. And I'm like, what do you got? Like a bunch of frequent flyer miles? Your mom works for the airline? What's going on here, man? Because that's
Hotel
a lot.
points.
Yeah, dude, that's a lot of travel. He did tell me, man. He goes, that Texas visit. He's visited a lot of places. He goes,
Yeah.
that Texas visit, there was something about it. And I said, well, when you narrow your list, he goes, 100%. Texas will be on, whether it's top 5, top 10, whatever. Texas will be on that list. So Texas is in a good spot there.
He's a guy that, not to interrupt you, but he's a guy that has a relationship with both Cedric Baxter and
Yes.
Peyton Kirkland. He was actually going to try to come out for the TCU game with Peyton Kirkland. So that definitely helps in Texas' favor as well.
Yeah, he mentioned that's a good point. He mentioned that, and he said, "Hey, it would be nice going there, knowing that I have a couple friends there already." What's interesting, I didn't ask him this until we got off I noticed when we got off the phone, he's got like a DFW area code. So I don't know if he used to live in. And I texted him like, "Hey, did you used to live there?" Or maybe my numbers got scrambled or something. But I need to check in on that a little bit more. But
Yeah.
he was at 76, just below him. Cole, I'm gonna let you talk. It's your guy, number 77. Lovejoy linebacker Peyton Pierce.
Yeah, he's similar to Nigel Smith in the fact I think Texas is kind of battling Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Ohio State has gotten in the mix there. But yeah, just a really good linebacker, really good football player. He was top 30 player, if I remember correctly, maybe just outside top 30 at the last update. Fortunately, his junior year was riddled by injuries that kind of led to his dropping. Still a very capable player and a guy that's been on Texas campus multiple times.
Yeah. Speaking of guys who have visited multiple times, I'm going to lump these next three together, but it's number 88 is Lancaster safety Corian Gibson. Number 92, Kadavian Dotson, the Duncanville safety. So you got two safeties from the Metroplex right there, 88 and 92. And then James Peoples, I'm going to go ahead and put him he's number 95, the San Antonio running back. That's the last of the guys in the top 100. So all three of those guys, we talk about guys who've been on campus a bunch. All three of those guys have been on campus a ton. I really like Texas's chances with Corey and Gibson. I really like Texas's chances with James Peoples if they stay the course that they really want to push there. You talk about high character guys. I think he's from a military family, but I mean, this is a guy like, sounds terrible. Like, hey, James, you're the same age as my daughter's as junior in high school. Like, you mind if I give her your phone number? Because like he's an awesome kid, dude. Like, just like seriously, like the most polite kid like I've encountered in a long time. Just an amazing kid and a top 100 national player. Kadavian Dotson's a guy, Cole. You've talked to Kadavian a lot more than I have, the Duncanville safety. But I know Texas is right there in the mix. I mean, LSU's a strong player there too, right? But I mean, I think Texas is going to be a big factor for all three of those guys.
No doubt.
Okay, so now we're outside of the top 100, but obviously still top 250, where all these guys are rivals 250. But Aaron Hampton, former Texas commitment, drops down to number 114. Aaron's kind of tough to pin down. I don't know where that one's going to wind up, but I mean, Texas is in play there. But your thoughts on Aaron Hampton and where things stand there?
Yeah, like I say, it's kind of tough to nail down. He does still like Texas, but he's also not been shy about liking Alabama. I know Nebraska is another school trying to get in the mix. A guy I think is going to take his time with the process, take as many visits, and we'll see if Texas can get him on campus again, unofficial or even an official visit from there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling. There's so much with Aaron Hampton. I mean, is Alabama going to push?
Yeah.
Is Texas going to continue to push? We'll see. And then the next two guys are guys we're both very familiar with, guys who both are squarely Texas is in the mix. And they both made big jumps there. They weren't in the Rivals 250 previously, but it's Lake Belton cornerback Selman Bridges, a fairly recent Texas offer. A guy, Micah Hudson's teammate too. So he's at 124. And then Parker Livingstone, another guy that I just love in this class just because he's just a great interview and he's just great personality, great kid. At number 129, the wide receiver out of Lovejoy. So Selman Bridges, 124. Parker Livingston, 129. There have been times, Cole, I thought Parker might be close to committing to Texas, but I think I've oversold that in my mind a little bit because then I'll check with Parker and he's like, no. It's too early and I want to take these other visits. But he clearly does like Texas a lot. He came down before the junior days just so he could have a one-on-one visit. That was before Texas hired Chris Jackson, the new wide receivers coach. So, they're going to have to build that relationship up. But assuming Chris Jackson can do a good job building up that relationship, I'm not sure there's a school I'd put above Texas in that race. Selman Bridges likes Texas a lot. Pretty open, though. Didn't come in for that junior day. I think Texas still needs to get him on campus a little bit more. Any thoughts? I know you've covered Parker in particular pretty closely. So any thoughts on those two, Cole?
Yeah, actually, I also got to see Bridges last year. Really big defensive back, 6'2", really maybe 6'4", I think, actually.
Yeah,
really big, long. Kind of like Tariq Woolen, in the NFL, who just had a really good rookie season with the Seahawks. It's a pretty good prototype if he can be anything like that. And then, Parker Livingstone. I think he has I can't remember the exact time. He has a really good 200-meter time for his size, especially a touchdown machine. Georgia offered him. He's got a really good offer sheet, but Texas is right there in the mix.
Yeah, Selman Bridges is listed at 6'4", 170, which in his body. But man, these DBs are just getting longer and longer and longer, right? I mean, you never used to see a 6'4", certainly not at a cornerback. I mean, once in a blue moon, maybe.
He can move too. I saw him against Red Oak with Warren Roberson playing wide receiver, and Taz Williams at 2025, and he was holding his own, if not, winning his fair share of reps. So really, really good player. And that was early on in last season, so he really only got better from there.
Yeah, to be 6'4" and be able to be that athletic to play corner and playing some nickel stuff.
Player too. There's lots of there.
Yep. Okay, and then last one, Cole, in this tier, kind of the mid 4-star guys, a guy that we talked to recently. He was at the Texas Junior Day, number 141, King Joseph Edwards out of Georgia. Huge offer sheet, huge academic guy, like some of these others we've talked about. Academics are going to be important. That's going to help Texas, I think. He told me he wants to study kinesiology. He wants to study kinesiology was somebody else I just talked to this week. Psychology is what King Joseph Edwards wants to study. So he's doing close enough. Mind, body, whatever. Ironically, fun fact, this guy minored in psychology at Texas. So sure did. I just majored in journalism, and I just always found psychology fascinating. So I took a bunch of psychology courses and minored in it. So there's your big news of the day. That
that's what everybody's tuning in for.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's tuning in for that. So, Edwards is pretty open, but man, he's been on Texas 2 or 3 times, the Texas campus. He's going to come back. He already said for a game. So Texas will be in the mix there for King Joseph Edwards. Okay, Cole, our last tier, and we got about 9 guys on this tier. These are our low 4-star targets, which sounds bad, low 4-star, but hey, they're still Rivals 250 members. These are still elite players, right? So Anthony Smith, the Jasper linebacker, I always thought Texas was a team to beat there. I still feel that way, but the fact that he didn't come to the Texas Junior Day, and I think he wound up going to A&M maybe instead.
I think he did,
Yeah, that I was like, okay, maybe I should hedge my bets a little bit there, but I still like Texas there. But your thoughts on Anthony Smith, who checks in at number 145?
Yeah, really good athlete, good player. You could tell Texas kind of identifying those athletic and rangy sideline linebackers, and he fits that perfectly. And even though he did visit A&M during the junior day, I think Texas strongly, if not the leader, they're definitely up there for him.
Yeah, and then moving to number 165, Bryant Wesco, the wide receiver out of Midlothian, actually a guy I just talked to last night, and as luck would have it, he's been in touch with Chris Jackson, really likes kind of what he's heard from Coach Jackson there. Sark is the one who offered him just very recently, a couple weeks ago. Likes Texas a lot. His sister goes to Oklahoma. She's a soccer player at Oklahoma. So a lot of people think that may give Oklahoma a bit of a leg up. But he has had a lot of good things to say about Texas. I'll have that in the war room tonight. So I think Texas will be a player there. But that Oklahoma factor is going to be something Texas will have to overcome. Number 169, I should let you announce this one because I can never get his name right, but it's Zena or Mozalu or something. I should know it.
I always butcher his last name as well. But
Even though
Zena Zulu,
yeah, Nick. And his brother, NATO, is on the Texas roster, right? So we should know how to say it, and I've asked them like 10 times, and they explain it to me.
I'm just really bad with names more than anything else. But yeah, him as a player, I'm personally higher on than his ranking. But yeah,
he
really
took a
long.
pretty good tumbled. I mean, he's 169. He was top 50-ish before this, wasn't he?
Yeah, borderline top 50, if not in the top 50. But yeah, I really like him. Really long defensive end. I think he's a guy that's going to be a lot better of a college player than he is in high school. I think he's still kind of a little bit raw, but I think the best is still ahead of him. Obviously, having NATO on campus and it definitely helps for sure. But it's not going to be easy for Texas. He's been open about liking A&M and Oklahoma. So we'll see what happens there. But I do think Texas is in a good spot to eventually get his commitment. And that would be a pretty big commitment.
Yeah, it would be. He did not come to the Texas Junior Day. Instead, went to A&M. Now, he did tell me he was set to have a call with Texas on Tuesday, I think, of this week. And he was going to, it was Tuesday, because he and I talked, and he goes, I'm about to get on the phone with Texas coaches here in a minute. And they're trying to get him to come to that March 25th Junior Day, so he'll probably make it. 177, and I hope I'm saying his name right. I've never talked to him. I'm trying to track down a number. I've hit him up on social media. I haven't been able to get a number, so I need to keep working on that. But I think it's Gecko Baker. I hope I'm saying that first name right. Gekyle, out of Brownsboro. Listen, dude, I haven't talked to him, so I can't say a whole lot about his recruitment.
Yeah,
I keep working on that. If someone sees this who knows his number, hit me up in my DMs because I want to get in touch with him. But dude, his film is legit, man. I mean, he's 177. He's a guy I could see if he goes to some camps and things. I could see him rising up the rankings even more. 6'3", 170. His run after the catch ability for his size is freaking amazing. I love this guy's film, man. So I really want to talk to him. Just haven't been able to track him down, but we'll work that out pretty soon.
And he was on campus for junior, and Texas is really high on him, kind of making it a big priority as well. So yeah, big time player.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, he was at the Junior Day. You're right. And unfortunately, that would have been a great time for us to catch him, but somehow he slipped by us without us talking to him.
We know he did the jersey photo shoots, though. He did post that.
Yeah, we saw that, so we know he was there. Yeah. So Blake Ivy, the Clear Springs offensive lineman, checks in at 185. I didn't talk to Blake. He was at the Junior Day, correct?
Yeah, he was. I don't think I was able to.
Yeah,
talk to him afterwards.
I did not get a chance to talk to him either. So he's a guy that we'll put on our list to kind of hit up. But he checks in at number 185. Number 188, another guy that I could see moving up quite a bit. Timpkins athlete Terry Bussey, a guy that Texas just offered, and everybody's like, finally, this is the guy, the one that everybody's been waiting on. Really tremendous player. I don't think Texas hurt itself by waiting so long to offer. And I talked to Terry after Texas offered. I think they could have helped themselves, though, a lot by offering earlier, if that makes any kind of sense at all. But he likes Texas. He's going to visit this spring. I would think they have a good shot of getting him on campus for that Junior Day. But I know schools like he was at A&M's Junior Day. I know schools like A&M and a lot of others have a bit of a head start. But this guy's a kind of a jack of all trades on the football field and and the basketball court too, for that matter. But tremendous.
If you have a free few minutes, you might as well just turn on his tape, his huddle film, and it's fun. He plays quarterback, but kind of plays all over the field, like you mentioned. This really exciting, explosive player that I think Orange Bloods was loved to see. Finally got that offer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a couple guys in particular. UTX. Shout out to user UTX is like, when are they going to offer Terry Bussey? I'm like, I don't know, dude. But it finally happened. And, he did say, hey, I'm going to strongly consider that offer. likes Texas a lot. Number 205, Cole, I want to let you take the wheel on this because you talked to him pretty recently at the Texas Junior Day. Defensive tackle Jeffrey Rush out of Mississippi.
Yeah, I think he was the last person to leave that junior day. He spent a ton of time with Steve Sarkisian, Bo Davis. His family was in their office for a while, and told me it went really well. Bo Davis is making a big priority in that class. We'll see how that defensive line, pecking order shakes out. But he's a guy that's pretty high on Texas coming out of that visit, and mentioned wanting to make a return visit either in the spring, if not an unofficial, or if not for official, at least for an unofficial. So a guy out of Mississippi that Bo Davis is really connected with.
And then last on our list, Cole, of guys to talk about for today, checking in at number 221 on the Rivals 250, another guy that I think is going to move up higher than this in time. He's really stock has taken off in this spring, but defensive lineman, he was at the Texas Junior Day out of Conroe Oak Ridge, Joseph Jonah Ajanye, I think is how you say his last name. I talked to him this week. Big time, loved the Texas offer. He's very familiar with Texas's history with Nigerian players. He was born in Nigeria, just moved to, I forget what year it was, but he's only been playing football for 3 years. So this guy's still new to the game, still developing, tremendous upside. He said he's familiar with Joseph Osai was his favorite player. Obviously went to Texas, a Nigerian-born player. He mentioned a few of them. So, Texas has had success with those guys in the past. He's familiar with it, loved what he saw at Texas. But he's got a lot of schools that are involved and a lot of schools that are standing out, he told me, A&M being one. So, but Texas is very much in the mix there, and we'll get an official visit from him, he said. So, Cole, that's a lot of names we just talked about. Those are all the guys who are in the Rivals 250. Honestly, Texas has so many offers out this year. We could probably do another 2 hours talking about everybody else that they've offered in this 2020.
They didn't even make the 250 either.
Right. So we're just focusing on the higher end guys, if you will. But there's a lot of other guys we'll be talking about that aren't on the Rivals 250 that are legitimate targets for Texas. But that was kind of fun going through that list. We're still in a dead period through the month of February, so not a ton of recruiting action. Some new offers here, some new offers there. Things will start picking up again in March, and then we transition into the summer or June. You get official visits and things of that nature. So we've got a couple weeks left to kind of catch our breath, my man, and then we hit the ground running. And I say catch our breath. We got my little trusty calendar here. We got all these camps coming up, 7-on-7 events. So it's going to be pretty hectic coming up. But
it's coming up be fast.
Yeah. It always does, doesn't it? It never slows down. But well, that's our CruitCast for this week, everybody. As always, thank you for watching, giving us some of your time. Check out that primeshrimp.com, the promo code up there at the top, promo code Texas25 to get 25% off of your order of 5 units or more. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Cole and I'll be back next week to talk maybe about some of the guys that didn't make the Rivals 250, but are still big-time targets for Texas and could wind up moving into that range in time. But again, thanks everybody for giving us some of your time. Enjoy the rest of your week. We will be back next week to talk to you. Everybody take care.